got like no ears, but that's okay. So, hello everyone. I'm sure you've seen the news. I know I have. Let me preface this by saying my phone was blowing up this morning. Oh my goodness. I was at work. I was there. Was it like it was 10 or 11 when my phone started getting all these messages? I was there until 5. So I couldn't even do anything. I couldn't even really check my phone or else I would get in trouble, right? So my phone just doodly 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 doodly. I was like, okay, this has to be one of three things. Either something happened for Barney, something happened for Power Rangers, or somebody died. And I was so like, oh my goodness. I didn't know what to think, right? It was actually Kalen of Terrific Tributes sent me a message, and I think he sent me an image of what it actually ended up being, and I couldn't really see it. It was a small preview and it was blurred, and I was like, "What is this?" And I saw Barney's colors, and immediately I got concerned. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what to think, and obviously, this is what's going on. And now let me say it's all about love here. You all know that. So love. It doesn't matter how you feel about where Barney is going, what's happening. We're going to be very respectful. We're going to be very kind as possible in the comments. Make sure to voice your opinion, but we're going to be very respectful about what's going on because I have a lot of strong opinions as well. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. I've already read the article, but I'm going to read it here with you guys. And we're going to just look at everything that's going on. There's going to be a few different videos because I want to delve into each different thing as we go along. So stay tuned. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, more videos will be coming on this topic. But there's a lot to dive into here. First of all, the link will be in the description if you want to see the article for yourself and everything. I'm going to be reading part of it here with you guys. So it says, Mattel announced today its relaunch of the iconic Barney franchise. Mattel's comprehensive revitalization of the Barney brand will span television, film, and YouTube content, as well as music and a full range of kids' products, including toys, books, clothing, and more. Apparel and accessories for adult fans featuring classic Barney are also in development. Now, we will talk about that in a separate video because I have a few theories on what that could mean. Some good, some not so good. So, right here, we see the general business press release stuff. This doesn't tell us anything. Aside from the image that we'll be looking at in a second, this doesn't tell us anything, right? All it says is Mattel is announcing a relaunch of the Barney franchise, which is good. It doesn't matter what's going on. A relaunch is good because keep in mind, Barney's been gone since 2010. It's been 13 years since he's been anywhere in any large capacity. We're not talking merchandise, we're talking as a whole. Barney has been gone for that long. So it's not, it makes sense that Barney is obscure. And we've talked about that a lot of times on this channel. Barney has become obscure and Mattel has let it become obscure because they're not doing anything, right? Now we have confirmation that they are, or they have been, you know? So regardless of what it ended up being, I'm glad that we have confirmation that Barney is moving forward in some way. If you look at my last video, we talked about how the Barney franchise is stuck, how the Barney franchise hasn't been doing anything recently, and it was very upsetting. As someone that's grown up with the franchise since I was a child, and just if you look at everything on this channel, you can see why that's very upsetting. So just the fact that they're announcing something like this on the 35th year of the franchise, you know, the anniversary, that is very wonderful. Now we're going to move on to the next part right here. This is what set people off. Well, I mean, it's part of it, right? Mattel will relaunch Barney to a new generation with a brand new animated series set to debut globally in 2024. Created for preschool kids, the series will feature the ubiquitous purple dinosaur and friends, introducing the audiences to the world of Barney through music-filled adventures centered on love, community, and encouragement. The series will be co-produced by Chorus Entertainment's Nelvana, a leading international producer and distributor of children's animated and live-action content, together with Mattel Television, and executive produced by Fred Sully and Christopher Keenan for Mattel Television and by all these other people. Now, I have very strong opinions about this. One, I I've said multiple times, and it's not just me. A lot of people have been saying this. Barney has been a live action franchise since its conception, whatever. You know what I mean? Barney's been a live action franchise since 1988, and it's been 35 years, and it hasn't strayed from that as a main thing. And I feel like that is the heart of the show. That is the core of the show. Barney comes to life, and it's not to where it's a cartoon. It's Barney is a live action costume, and regardless, real or not, it's a real tangible thing. You can go and see Barney at different attractions. He's real. It's a real person in a costume. It's a real thing that you can go out and see. That I feel like adds to the realism and just the core of the show being imagination. I've always said I never wanted Barney to be animated because I knew what they were going to do. It wasn't going to be a side thing, it was going to be a main thing. And that's the main reason that it always frightened me, the idea of Barney becoming an animated thing. Because again, knowing a company like this, they're not going to make it just some side thing. They're going to make it a cost saving measure and make it the entirety. And if that ends up being the case, then I feel like it's doing a massive disservice to not only the franchise, but everyone that's been involved with it since it started. All the body actors, all the kid actors, all the voice actors that had to do all the timing with the movements and everything. Going across countries and doing stage tours and doing concert shows and this and that. It's been that way for so long, and it wouldn't be as bad if they weren't trying to bury and hide Barney's past. Barney's been around for 35 years. The company will only show you the most recent 10 years, 2000 to 2010. They will only ever show you that. They will never show you everything from before that, which is bizarre because that was Barney's peak. That was where Barney was at its highest. The sales were the highest. People knew who Barney was. Barney was going across countries. He was making news headlines, all this kind of stuff. The 90s were Barney's peak, and they will not show you that. It's almost like they refuse to, whether it be royalty fees that they have to pay, whatever. They won't do it. They will only show you 2000 and 2010. And again, being that Barney's been gone for so long, he's obscure. Kids growing up today that were born after Barney stopped its run on television only have YouTube to go off of. But now with this relaunch, we don't know what they're going to do with live action. We don't even know if they're going to continue that. They said that they want to do YouTube content. We don't know how this will affect the YouTube content that's already up. We don't know if they're going to continue to keep showing those clips from, the hit entertainment years, or God forbid, like before that. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if they're going to completely revamp the YouTube and just do Barney animated forever. Who knows? We don't know anything about that just yet, right? And I think that's also something that sort of frightens me a little bit, because the last thing that I want to see them do is just completely not erase, but like not acknowledge the fact that this show has been live action for so long, and that would hurt my heart very, very strongly. And again, we don't want to jump to conclusions. We don't know yet. We have to wait until we get something more concrete. If anything, this is more that we've seen of a new Barney project than the Barney movie by Daniel Kaluuya. We haven't even seen anything from that. We've only heard talk. So the fact that we're getting anything substantial that we can see is key, and I appreciate that very much. I do. Being that it's animated, I still don't like it, but I mean, I don't know. We don't know yet. If we get a trailer, I'll react to it. We'll talk about it. But we're going off of I don't want to say a premise, but it's something, but it's not anything overly substantial. Now I have a next. What is this? It's a quote from, I don't know who it says. I'll probably put it in the thing, but it says, "With our modern take on Barney, we hope to inspire the next generation to listen, care, and dream big. We think that parents, many of whom will fondly remember the original Barney from their own childhoods, will love the show too. Now that's something, that's something that I've noticed with this press release is that they're continuously pointing out that people used to love Barney. They're continuously pointing out the adult fans, the people that grew up with the show. They're continuously bringing that up. That is something that I like. There's a reason I don't like it, but like that's something that I really enjoy. That they're acknowledging that there are adult people around that still remember Barney, that remember Barney fondly, and they're saying like you will love this, you'll remember it from your childhood. That's great. That's really all I have to say about that. What is this next part? Okay, so they say Barney's message of love and kindness has stood the test of time. Josh Silverman, he's the chief franchise officer and global head of consumer products at Mattel. I don't know who he is, but I guess he's the chief franchise officer, so he must be doing something good. We will tap into the nostalgia of the generations who grew up with Barney. Again, now parents themselves, and introduce the iconic purple dinosaur to a new generation of kids and families across the world, across content, products, and experiences. So again, another just sort of generic press release statement that doesn't really tell us anything. They're just saying, we want to introduce Barney again to new people, and what does it say? They're gonna tap into nostalgia, and I've said that in a previous video. I said that they need to do something with nostalgia. There's a lot of companies that take nostalgia and they just overdo it. That's all it is. They're always constantly referencing the past and making things what they used to be, as opposed to moving forward. Sonic the Hedgehog. There was a long stint where the Green Hill Zone was everywhere, and it was so irritating. Power Rangers, they still kind of do it. They haven't been doing it as much, but like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was everywhere, and to the point where they're starting to tout it as it was the best one, and it's like it's the oldest one. Barney hasn't done that. Barney almost refuses to do that. Barney will not acknowledge the past. Barney only would just continuously regurgitate the same things from the recent years over and over and over again. There's so much material that they can tap into with Barney's nostalgia when it comes to merchandise, releases, accessories. They can do all that. They haven't done any of that. So if anything, I'm excited to see what they could do with that. And that's going to be a different video that I want to talk about later. But that is something that I am excited for. In this next part, they say, in creating the new series, it was important to us that we properly reflect the world that kids today live in so that the series can deliver meaningful lessons about navigating it. With our modern take on Barney, we hope to inspire the next generation to listen, care, and dream big. We think that parents, many of whom will fondly remember the original Barney from their own childhoods, will love the show too. Fans, okay, so again, they're talking about old old parents, people that grew up with Barney. You'll love it, sure. I mean, whatever. But the thing that stood out to me about this was they're saying that they want the show to reflect the world that kids live in today. So that's a very broad statement. That could mean so many different things. There's been so much that's happened in the world since Barney went off the air, and there's a lot of things that even in Barney and Friends that they just didn't touch on. So the fact that they do want to strongly, portray the world that we're in now, and teach kids about like how to care for people, how to do this, how to do that, how to be respectful, how to be kind to people that are different, is what I'm assuming that they're talking about. I love that. That's something that I always wanted for Barney, that Barney almost like never really did. There's a lot of things that Barney didn't touch on, not because they didn't want to touch on it, but because it was such a different time back then, And when Barney's time ran out, it just never really got touched on. And I'm excited to see what they could do with that. Again, I really hope that live action Barney is still going to be a thing with Mattel, because we don't know what's going to happen to those costumes, and they're not just going to like hold up. Like, we don't know if anyone's even still making them at Mattel. We don't know what's going to happen with that. And the last thing we need is the remaining Barney costumes in the world just getting either destroyed or just run down and they never get used again. I ooh if if live action doesn't come back in some form or fashion, I will be very hurt. I'll be very upset. I know that the CG animation could do something, but we don't know the extent of that until we actually see it. Also, another thing, we don't know who's involved. From what I can tell, it doesn't look like anyone is really attached to the show from what we know just yet. Like a lot of people that I've seen talking about this are mainly Barney fans. We haven't seen, or at least at the time of this recording, I haven't seen any crew members talking about it. I haven't seen any body actors, voice actors, anything that were a part of the Barney franchise. I haven't seen anyone talking about it yet. I haven't. It's very quiet, so we don't know if anyone has jumped aboard, has been contacted, or what. But I hope that they have someone that was part of the original crew that would have something to say about this, or at least be part of it, because if they're planning to relaunch and just wipe a clean slate and bring in entirely new people, that is very concerning. And a lot of franchises do that. I'm really hoping, I'm really hoping that they don't do that. I'm just this is a very weird time. Also, we have this this is the image that swept the internet. This model of Barney. I have a lot of things to say about it. It'll be a separate video. There's good things, there's bad things. There's very bad things. I don't know how to feel I don't know how to feel about this model. Again, we're going to talk about the model separately because it's its own thing. So just stay subscribed, stay tuned. I have some things to say about this. That is the model that they're apparently going for in the show. We don't know if it'll get tweaked at all, but I hope it does. But that is supposedly what we're going with for Barney in this new animated series. It doesn't have a name. We don't have a trailer or anything. I'm assuming that will come in the coming months, if not weeks. Who knows? It could be tomorrow. We don't know just yet. But that all right. So that's something that I also wanted to touch on. All we have is this image. We have the image and we have an article. The article is nice. For the most part, it's very generic. And then we have this photo. We don't have any video. We don't have any footage. It's just this image of the CG model of Barney. After everything that happened with Mattel like a few days ago with the Thomas the Tank Engine community, if you don't know, I don't want to discuss the entire thing here. You can find it online. You can look it up. Basically, a Mattel representative said that they don't want to be involved with the autistic community for Thomas. As you all know, as you see right here, Barney is owned by Mattel right now. And the vast majority of Barney's community is autistic, or at least on the spectrum. The timing of this announcement, paired with everything that happened a few days ago, and how sort of generic this article is, almost feels, and I'm not saying they're doing this, it almost feels like they're trying to cover up what was going on. Because if not, they would have given us more than this. It would have been at least like a trailer or Barney moving around or something. It feels, something feels a little nasty. Something feels a little fishy about that. I'm not saying they're doing anything. I'm just saying the coincidence. I don't know. Also, I'm looking at this model and the color doesn't feel right. Anyways, that's a different video. I don't really have much to say else on the topic of the animated series because we don't know much yet. So this is already 20 minutes. That's pretty much all I have to say for this. Again, stay tuned because there's going to be separate videos talking about the model, talking about the adult content that they're going to be adult content, the adult merchandise that they're possibly going to be making. So stay tuned for that. Let me know all your comments, all your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys think about this. I want to hear your opinions. I know everyone has a lot of them. It's something, right? We haven't gotten anything for Barney in a long time. So I'm excited to see what they could do. There's a lot of things that I hope that they don't do. A lot of things I hope that they do. But we're just gonna have to wait and see how things lie with this, and in the coming year. Again, this is Barney's 35th year as a franchise. It's an anniversary, so clearly they had to have been planning something, or at least I'm glad that they were planning something at some point. So yeah, let me know what your comments are in the below, and let me know what your thoughts are. All right, what is this? If you guys haven't seen the previous video, you can check it out here. We talked about the fact that Mattel is relaunching Barney in 2024, or at least 2023, but they're starting the series, the new animated series, next year. And all my thoughts are in that. I'm not talking about that this time. I got everything I needed to say in that one. We're talking about this. So this is the photo that was sent to me many times this morning. At the time of this recording, this photo was sent to me so many times. This is the model that they're going with for the CG animated Barney cartoon that's going to be debuting next year. We don't know a streaming service. We don't know anything yet. We don't even have footage of it at the time of this recording. So this is all we have to go on. Can I just say, and a lot of people have said this, Barney being CG, I don't think could ever really work. Barney is one of those characters where the design is so specific with what it is. It's a live action costume. It's so specific that anything that you could possibly do to make it look okay in CG would not really work. And that's just my opinion. You know, I've never, the last time Barney's been CG was it 2000? Come on over to Barney's house, and they did that really awkward and strange opening where Barney slid down on some musical notes, and then he was like, "Come on to the house," and then they never did it again. And I think the point is, it's not going to work. It does not work. And I want to just sort of just get into this design because there's a lot of things that I don't like. There's some things that kind of work, other things that don't. First of all, this isn't a dig on the designer or anything at all. I don't think that they know what a Tyrannosaurus Rex looks like. Look at his hands. What do you notice about those? He has 4 fingers. Tyrannosaurus has 2 fingers. And I feel like all it took is to look at any image of Barney. He has 2. He has like mitts. They're because that's what a Tyrannosaurus looks like. They don't have 4 fingers. Even in the artwork that you'd see in like books and merchandise and stuff like that, they made sure to point out, or not to point out, but they made sure to remember the design philosophy. He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, I've said multiple times that I never liked that in artwork Barney would have long arms, like just like human-sized long arms, because that didn't make sense. He's a Tyrannosaurus. He should have small arms, like the costume. Why did I say it like that? Like the costume, like the costume. You know, the arms are kind of long, but they're not like human size. They're like stubby, kind of. That's what they're supposed to be. Why does he have fingers and like he has elbows? Like, that doesn't make any sense. One thing I do like is the feet. I like how sort of you can't tell that he's like tall or anything. He looks really small, and I don't really have too much of a problem with that, as long as he's not like smaller than the kids in the show that's supposedly gonna be made. I hope that's not the case. I hope he's still tall, but he looks kind of like scrunky. Is that the right word? I don't know. He has like stubby feet, and it's nice. I don't know. He's scrunkly. Thank you. D's helping me out. Scrunkly. That's the word. It looks kind of nice. I don't know. The toes, they look fine. I appreciate that they are taking liberties enough to where they're sort of working out how he would look in a CG format. If we look at the face, Austin, my good friend Austin, he messaged me and he said that the head kind of looks like the original like 1988 costume. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I just wish everything else looked nice because I don't understand. First of all, the eyes are standard like CG character eyes. I don't really care. It's their eyes. They look fine, I guess. His mouth, he has that looks intentional. He has 2 teeth on the top row and then one big one on the bottom. So they were clearly modeling this after the costume. He even has like the side thing, and it looks as though when he talks, it's going to be like the flapping of the mouth, which would look really stupid. I feel like Barney talking in a CG cartoon at all would be really disturbing. I don't like the idea of his mouth doing like human syllables. I feel like that wouldn't be right. It works live action because it's a costume. You get it. Like you understand why it's doing that, you know? He's not a I really we need to wait and see how that looks because what I'm imagining does not look right. And I don't I also just don't like the idea of his face emoting in a way that like you can tell by the way his eyelids are sort of modeled that they're probably going to move when he like does like different emotions, and I don't like that. It feels like it's going to look really gross.
Oh yeah, this is happening.
I really see. Here's the thing. I really wish they gave us some sort of trailer or something to go off of so we can see it in motion, because the way it looks right now, I don't like it. I don't know what the side profile is going to look like, and I feel it's going to look kind of bad. Again, there are things about it that I like, but I feel like the things that I don't like are outweighing it.
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him.
Another thing is the color shade. The Barney crew have always maintained a strict sort of design philosophy. You know, you always hear, not always, but you hear from different crew members that were involved with the marketing and everything that Barney has a very specific shade of purple. It's PMS 245, I think, or 246. I could be entirely wrong. But it's a very specific shade of purple that they use for Barney, for merchandise, but also for artwork and just like the costume fleece, because it's a very signature color. This is not that color. And I'm looking, you know, I had the autograph from David Joyner standing right next to me, and it's a photo of the costume from season 5. I'm sorry, from season 3. The costume from season 3 in 1995. And I'm looking at these two, and it's very clearly not the color that Barney is supposed to be. And if this is the model that they're going with, untweaked, then that means that it's going to bleed into the merchandise, and it's going to be wrong. And I don't want to be the kind of person that like, oh, the color's wrong. Nitpick the color, but like, it's been the same color for years and like 30 something years, and having it change in a way that you can tell it's not. You can tell that they didn't do it on purpose. It feels like they just sort of, okay, he's purple, make him purple, and that was it. They didn't bother to think that Barney has a specific color. All you needed to do was color match it. Just take a little color picker tool and go, and that's it. Like, but they didn't do that, and that bothers me a little bit. There's not really much else to. I just noticed he has a tongue. I don't like that. Because I don't like it because I know that it's going to move. Anything in his face in moving is not something that I'm into. Someone pointed out that his stomach has a texture to it. It looks kind of like a stuffed animal texture, and I was like, that's kind of cool. You know, like he's stuffed animal. He's alive now, and he has like a stuffed animal. He still has a stuffed animal stomach, which is great. What bothered me about it was the fact that it's only on the stomach and nowhere else. Like the entire rest of his body is like it's just a flat, smooth. So like, why is the stomach? I don't know. I don't. There's a lot of questions that I have that probably aren't going to be answered for a little bit. That's pretty much all I have to say about the model. It's very jank. And it's just sort of weird because I feel like when you take Barney and you put him in this format, he ends up looking generic. And I don't like that for him. He just sort of looks like a generic dinosaur that you would see in the background of some like Illumination movie. And with his design being so specific and iconic, it feels like a disservice. And I'm not too big on the model itself. I'm sure it will look better in motion, but as it stands right now, this is what we're given. This is what I see. I do not like it. And I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments your opinions about this model and just the cartoon idea in general. And of course, as I said in the last video, it's all about the love. LOVE. We have to be respectful as respectful as possible. And you have to be respectful because the comments don't get published until I review them. So
Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too if you just make believe him.
Mattel, if you're watching this, do you see me? Do you see me? Look at this. Look at that. All right. Anyways. Hello, hello, hello. So, there's been multiple videos posted. You can see them right here. Go and watch them. They're about the Barney CG animated relaunch, whatever, for next year. This video might be kind of short, but it's something that I wanted to touch on because it's something that they brought up a lot in this press release that was released today, February 13th, 2023. So they continuously brought up that, you know, there are adult fans, there are adult people that grew up with Barney that are still around in the community today. That is something that they did not have to acknowledge in the press release, but it's something that they made a very strong point to highlight because, it's brought up again and again and again and again, multiple times. And I wanted to touch on this because they said that they're going to be releasing things. I'm going to put up the quote right here from the press release. I'll put it in the description as well. It says, apparel and accessories for adult fans featuring classic Barney are also in development. Now, this could mean so many things, a lot of things, and I'm optimistic. Yeah, I'm just optimistic. That's really all it is. Because the thing is, there's a lot of franchises out there that, you know, being kid-based properties, but like they don't really seem to care about the fact that there probably are adult fans that are still around and celebrating the franchise and all this kind of stuff. So again, the fact that they acknowledge that we're around is really nice, and that they're making things that would cater towards us. Now, again, that could mean a variety of things. Specifically, they say apparel and accessories. So that's like, you know, shirts, hats, Barney like glass lenses. I don't know. So that's the standard stuff. But they said featuring classic Barney. What does that mean? Now, to Mattel, that could mean a variety of different things. That could mean this, putting this on a shirt, I guess, like the old designs and stuff like that. That could mean this, or that could mean this. And I'm very frightened as to what they think classic Barney is, because again, that could be any of those things. If they're going to be making merchandise for adult fans, all I will say is there's one thing that they've never done. And if, God forbid, they go the animated route entirely and, you know, they strip live action, I hope on everything that does not end up happening. One thing that they've never done, you know, I'm going to say, is making replicas of the dolls from the show. They couldn't do that when the show was around, because that would be, you know, tantamount to advertising. That would be like, oh, well, it's here in the show, now you can go on the store and buy it. They can't do that. They legally cannot do that in America, at least. Now that the show is so long gone, or even just the fact that, you know, seasons 1, 2, and 3 happened in the 90s, they're gone now, they don't air them anymore, whatever. Maybe it's possible for them to legally do that. And let me tell you something. I feel like I can stand for, I feel like I can say this for pretty much anyone in the Barney community. If they remade things like this and sold it, we would buy it. I would buy it. Are you kidding me? Having one just sitting on my desk or something, be like, look, it's Barney. And being that they're a toy company, they could do that. They all they have to do is, there's so many people in the Barney community that do this regularly, that make replicas. Orion, you've got Andrew, you know, Barney Builder, like people that build things like this, 3D print things like this. They could reach out to them and do all kinds of stuff. You know, go stupid, go crazy. They could do so many things. All I'm saying is that's all I would ever want. I don't care about anything else. If they made that, I wouldn't buy anything else for the rest of my life. Okay, well, they probably wouldn't want me to say that. But if they made that, I'd be hooked. I'd make a video and everything. Like, I would love that. I feel like that's every kid's dream, just to have a Barney that's like the one from the show. And of course, again, they legally couldn't do that. But if they end up going this route, they probably could, and I don't even care if they sell it for $40. There's so many things that they could do. They said apparel and accessories. I don't know if that stems into possibly re-releasing old stuff for adult fans. I don't know if they would go that far. As much as I would want to, I don't see them re-releasing Barney and the Backyard Gang. I don't see them re-releasing Imagination Island anytime soon. I'm really curious as to what they mean by, making things for adult fans. I'm glad that they're doing this, but I really would like to see more or hear more about what specifically this means. Look, I'm gonna need for Mattel to start announcing when they're like putting this news stuff out. It is so early in the morning. Hello guys, roll the intro. So I'm sitting here playing Splatoon, and someone texts me on Twitter saying, "Hey, have you seen this?" And it's like Barney news, and I'm like, I'm not in the mood to record today. I'm not feeling terrible at all. I just like I was not planning on recording today, so my eyes probably look terrible. Anyways, before we get to this, just know that if you haven't seen it yet, I unboxed a Barney bag from 1994 that was owned by the lady that played Kathy in Barney and Friends. There's some rare photos in there as well. You want to check that out? It's right here, or it's in the description for if you want to put it in your watch later list and that kind of thing. So anyways, now let's get to the actual news. So the gist of it is that the name and logo for this new Barney series that, like the CG series that's coming out next year, the name and logo for that have been unveiled and revealed. And we're going to be looking at this article. This is from nickandmore.com. So we're going to take a look at it ourselves. This isn't going to be a long video or anything. I just wanted to just talk about this because it's Barney news. It says Warner Brothers Discovery announced today it has picked up the new CG animated series Barney's World for Cartoonito on Cartoon Network and streaming on Max. So that is the name for this new series. We kind of speculated that that's what it was going to be, like taking place in Barney's world. That sort of failed premise that they tried to do years and years and years ago just didn't really work. Didn't make any sense. Okay, I mean, it's very standard. I don't know what else they would have called it aside from just Barney. So there's that. It says the series announced earlier this year as part of Mattel's Barney franchise relaunch will aptly be titled Barney's World and will revamp the iconic character for modern audiences. Co-produced by Mattel Television and Chorus Entertainment's Nelvana, Barney's World will debut globally in 2024, so all across the world. So that's pretty cool. With all the heart and comfort of the original iconic dinosaur, Barney's World is modernized with dynamic characters and music-filled storylines that highlight themes of love, community, and encouragement. Set in a local playground, Barney is joined by... This is what really concerned me. Barney is joined by dinos Billy and Baby Bob and their 3 kid best friends. Throughout silly and imaginative adventures together, Barney helps kids explore big preschool emotions and shows them to love themselves and others. I really hope that Nick and Moore just got the name wrong and that they did not rename BJ to Billy. At the same time, I would not put it past Mattel to rename BJ to Billy. You always hear these stories of, oh, BJ means this, ha ha ha. Like really immature, like whatever. But his name has been BJ for 30 years. You would have thought someone would have said something at some point. I really hope either they are actually renaming him to Billy or this isn't BJ and it's some other character that they're bringing in, which I don't imagine they would do. BJ is such an integral character to the franchise. There's no way they would just shelve him. I don't know. That really sort of... I'm going to leave it at that for right now. We don't know anything else aside from this right now. Based on this article and what it's saying about the show, it sounds like it's literally just going to be Barney and Friends, but in CG. That's literally, there's nothing definitive that makes it stand out from what Barney and Friends was in terms of its premise. So really, still, I feel like we're going to have to wait for a trailer or something to get a full visual of what's going on. I'm open to it. I will give it a chance, but I have a feeling I know what this is going to do, what they're going to do with it, and it doesn't make me all that happy. I feel like it's going to be something that I will dread because I just have a feeling I know what angle they're going to play with this, and it's going to be very strange. Well, I'll give it a chance. I will give it a chance. Absolutely. That's what we should all be doing, really. About Max, about Mattel. I'm not reading all of that. Who cares? Having grown up watching the original series, many of today's parents have fond memories of laughing, singing, and learning with Barney and his friends. We are proud to partner with Warner Brothers Discovery to reimagine this famed brand and bring a fresh and modern version of Barney to a global audience of families. Barney's World will be co-executive. Okay, so there's that. So there's Barney's World, the logo. The logo looks all right. It looks very standard. I don't know. I feel like anyone that would be making a new Barney logo would always try to use his tail as something, as like a long thing. That seems like a very like low apple from the tree. It looks all right. It's funny. His name, the color of his name in this logo is closer to what Barney actually is in its color shading than what they have for the model for Barney, which I think is kind of funny. There's that. Let me know what you guys think. I'm still very cautious about this, but I will give it a chance, of course. We're really just gonna have to wait and see for a trailer. I hope they announce that when the trailer's coming out, and I don't have to just on a whim make a video, because I mean, I haven't shaved. I haven't. The life of a Barney tuber, essentially. So, yeah, let me go know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys soon. I don't know. I might be recording a video tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Let me say this. At the time of this recording, there's been at least, like 6 videos, not including this one, in the past 2 weeks. That's very unheard of. Usually there's like 1 video every week. So, there you go. So add this to the list of things that were very unexpected. You know, Mattel keeps doing things for Barney that are never planned. They're always just sort of spontaneous, and it leaves me in a bind because now I have to report on it in times where I can't really do that. Nevertheless, I saw this on Facebook first. It wasn't really announced anywhere because, I mean, it wasn't really much of anything aside from just a big gathering of characters together. But trust me, we got photos, we got videos. I'm going to show you guys everything. So basically, the licensing expo happened yesterday or a couple days ago, something like that, at the time of this recording. Basically what that is it's a big gathering of companies where they show off their characters, they show off their products, they show off things that they're doing and working on, and it's basically just a big gathering of characters again. These companies just showing off what they have, and it's really just like a great place to go and take pictures with your favorite characters, I guess, because like they're all going to be there. Every company is just clamoring to talk about the things that they're making and the money they're going to be making, all this kind of stuff. They hold it every year, and of course, Mattel, being a huge toy company, was also there. Mattel had a booth, and they had a bunch of like walk around characters, and there was a photo that was taken where it was a bunch of characters that Mattel has like the licenses for, as well as just a lot of other characters that were in other booths that just came together to take a photo next to Mattel's booth. So you see like Sonic the Hedgehog and Bluey and all kinds of stuff. And it doesn't take the trained eye to notice that in this huge spread of characters in this one photo, there's one character that looks like a knockoff of someone that we know, but I assure you it's real, and it of course is Barney the dinosaur.
Who?
Yes, this is the official costume variation of the CGI Barney redesign that we've known of for the past few months, or actually the past month. When did they reveal it? Anyway, so this is Barney, or at least this is the costume variation of what we know now as the rebooted Barney. I think I just said that, but looking at this, when I first saw this, I was very mad. I was very, very angry because I didn't know what to think at first. I mean, it's very clearly exactly a one-to-one of what we were given for this new animated series that we still know virtually nothing about, right? This is exactly what he looks like as the model, and it's exactly what we should have expected for them if they were to make a walk-around character for it. Now, this very much is a walk-around Barney. This is not a performance Barney. This is not a suit that's going to be jumping around and dancing and doing sing-alongs and that kind of thing. It's very much just exactly, it's what you would imagine you going to like a birthday party and they had like a licensed Barney. This is basically what they did back in the early 90s when Carrie Stinson was doing birthday parties as Barney. It was just a very like straight shot. It's not anything super elaborate, but it exists for what it's for. This is a Barney that's going to be around taking pictures with people at the expo, and that's all it's really done for. Now, what I will say, there are pros and there are cons. Let me start with the pros first, because all in all, this is an impressive costume. Now, is it the Barney that we've known for the past 30 years? No, and I don't think it was ever going to be. You know, Mattel's looking to cut costs when it comes to Barney, so the fact that they're going CG instead of live action means that live action is not as important to them. Therefore, this is what we ended up with. That being said, I've seen people saying like it's really impressive how they were able to get this costume design working with just one image of Barney. But I also need people to understand the fact that yes, this is Mattel's official costume. However, again, it's Mattel's official costume. It's probably commissioned from someone else for Mattel to be used officially at this expo. So being that, again, it's Mattel, they of course have more photos and videos and just like a whole show bible probably for this new Barney series that we know nothing about. We don't know anything about it, right? They do. They're making it. So it's like, of course, they're going to have just a wealth of references to go for when it comes to making something tangible, you know? So, but even still, this is really impressive for just wanting to whip something up for like an event. I don't know what else they could be using this for. I mean, of course, no one knows, right? This is the first time we're seeing it. And it makes sense that they would want to show it at such a huge event like this. So only Lord knows what else they could be doing with this Barney costume. But for what it is and for the purpose that it's serving, it's actually really kind of nice. Really kind of nice. Wow. Do I even want to give it any credit? Now, the first like hour or 2 hours after this photo came out, it was so hard for me to find anything about this design. You know, people were taking pictures at the licensing expo. People were there, right? But like nobody was taking photos with Barney. Of course, Barbie was there, like the Barbie car or whatever was there because of the movie and Mattel, blah, 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 whatever. Bluey was there. There was a bunch of other characters, Sonic the Hedgehog, but like nobody was taking pictures with Barney. And I was like, is there some sort of embargo going on? Like, why do people not want to acknowledge that Barney was there? It looked like Barney was like at the entrance to the expo. So it's like, he's there. People see him. Why don't people want to interact with him? But like, eventually we got more photos, as I'm showing right here, of the design. And again, it's very interesting. It's very interesting that this is, again, it's like a one-to-one. It's like they just pulled it right out of the photo that we saw of the redesigned model and just made it. Now, of course, the mouth isn't going to move. The mouth, or the head is separate. So it's not like, again, it's not like the Barney we've known for the past 30 years. It's mainly just meant to be a walk around character. It's not going to be like a show accurate, whatever. Like, it serves its purpose. For the most part, it is Barney. Like that, aside from, of course, the arms, and I'll get into the cons in a little bit, but it looks competent. It looks very, very confident. And I think it's very charming. The longer I let it sit and settle with me, the more I enjoyed it. You all know that I hate the elbows. I hate that Barney has elbows, but like I feel like it works well enough with this costume. I think that's probably just because it doesn't move all that much. This Super Performer was probably paid like $100 just to come and stand in this expo. Probably not much. I don't know, but again, it serves its purpose, and I'm not offended at all. It very much works better as a costume than it does a model, and I've seen people saying that as well, and I have to resonate with that because, or rather, I have to agree with that because it's so much sleeker when you get to see it imagined in real life, you know, and I appreciate that a lot. The stomach also has like those lines that go around, like the texture that we saw on the model to make him look soft. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like he would look a lot better if those weren't there. He would look more smooth and soft without those lines that have to tell you that he's soft. You know, you don't really need that. But aside from that, he looks pretty all right. I like the toes. The toes are fine. I remember that was a big thing when the model came out, is that he had like elephant feet, but like it looks better in the costume because it's like you can very clearly see it better defined, and it looks great. I don't know why the tail is, I wish the tail wasn't like up. It very much is carrying after that cartoon design where the tail is never touching the ground. I feel like it would be better if it did, but it looks okay. I don't really, the head looks fine, the eyes look fine, the nose looks fine. It just looks like the model, right? And that is a-okay with me. I think this is fine. I don't really care that it looks like a Party City costume because, as I said many times before, it serves its purpose and it is all right with me. Now, in terms of the cons, yes, it is a Party City costume. I don't like that he has fingers, and I've said that when we looked at the model. The fact that he has fingers makes no sense to me at all. There are 4 fingers, and upon further inspection of the photos, he has fingernails, which is absolutely disgusting. I feel like that ruined it for me. Like, the fingers were like, okay, I don't like it, but I can get over it, I'm sure. But when I saw that he had fingernails, that really took it away from me. I was like, I don't like this anymore. I don't like his hands. They could be so much better. I don't know how they came up with that. Like, why would you decide to put fingernails on him? It looks kind of gross. That's about it for the cons. I mean, again, we don't know what else they're going to be using this costume for. It looks fine. I don't have anything against this design at all in terms of it being a walk around. It's really interesting that this is the first time we're seeing this as a live action character, and technically we haven't really had to wait all that long to see it, you know. I mean, of course we're probably not going to see it in the actual rebooted show, but like it's interesting that they decided to do it this way and have it just at the expo as opposed to doing just a formal announcement or just showing him off on like their Instagram or something. But I guess it makes sense, you know. This live action is not going to be their focus for this costume at all. It's just going to be showing up and taking pictures with people. But yeah, I just think it's fairly interesting. One also thing I wanted to point out is when we got the picture of the model, people were doomsday saying, and I was partially part of that, people were doomsday saying that like they're going to make him a child in the animated series, because if you look at the model, his proportions are very much that of a child. They're very small. They're not what you would expect from Barney. He looked very, very short in the model. But then you look at this, and this is Barney. This is Barney's height, right? I don't know if it's shorter, if it's definitely not taller, but like this is what Barney's height generally is, you know. But and I wasn't sure how to take that, because this could very easily just be them wanting to have an adult performer in the costume as opposed to somebody shorter. You know, this probably doesn't reflect how Barney will be presented in the show. This is probably just them, you know, doing the mascot thing. You know, all mascots, for the most part, have an adult, like a general, like 5, 8, whatever person inside their costume, because that's what you would expect from a mascot costume, you know. So that I don't know if this is just that or this is what Barney will be like in the show. I hope this is what Barney will be like in the show. Barney does not need to be a child in the reboot, and I think so many people are against that. You know, he's a teacher. He's here to help you learn and all this kind of stuff. He's not a child with you. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but all in all, I don't really know what else to say. Like this didn't offend me at all. I think, you know, we grew up with something different for 30 years, and this is a new take on that. Regardless, it's always, I feel like whatever they were going to do with a costumed variant of this new Barney was going to feel like a downgrade no matter what they did, right? We grew up with something so much more elaborate, something so much more technologically impressive with what they did with it, that whatever they were going to do with this new one was going to feel like a massive downgrade. And does this feel like a downgrade? Yes, it does. It's very apparent, visually apparent, that like this is not the same sort of standard that we're used to. At the same time, it's not something to just brush off. This is very impressive. I'm very impressed with what they came up with and how they presented it. I think this is really nice. I like the photos that the people have been taking with this costume, and it's very charming to me. I think it looks really nice, and really I feel like this video is probably the opposite of what a lot of people were expecting. I don't hate it. I really don't. I think it's wonderful. And especially being that we're probably not going to see it in the show, I like that it exists at all. They didn't have to do this. You know, they didn't have to make a Barney costume knowing that their character was going to be CG in the show, you know? So I appreciate that they did go about that. Some people were saying, like asking, what would this mean Like, what does this mean in terms of the last Barney costumes that exist? You know, the one that Carrie Stinson last used in 2017, something like that. The ones across in other countries doing Barney appearances. What does this mean for the last remaining Barney costumes? Nobody knows at this point. No one knows that they're still going to be used. I'd imagine they're still going to be used. And I'd also imagine that Mattel has mass-produced these new Barney costumes to be used and sent out to different places, to different events and stuff like that. I wouldn't imagine that they're going to keep producing the Barney that we used to know unless they're focusing on like new live-action content or just further promoting that Barney on YouTube and stuff like that. But again, like I'd imagine that they are mass-producing this new one and just sending them off to places because that would make the most sense for them just making this at all. It would be a little bit sad if they discontinued the past look for Barney. Again, I don't believe that would happen. I hope that wouldn't happen. But like, we grew up with Barney for 30 years. You know, we have so much of that, and regardless of how much of a downgrade this feels, we'll always have that. You know. And I think that's something that I've sort of had to accept with this new Barney is the fact that, you know, I'm 24 in like a week, right? So I've grown up with Barney all of my life, and I've known Barney all of my life. Like this is Barney for me. This is my Barney. He's always going to be there. He's always going to be around exactly as I remembered it. Everyone has their own Barney. I think I've mentioned that in some of my other Barney reviews and stuff like that. You know, the whole philosophy that the show taught that as long as you have a plush of Barney, your Barney is going to look different compared to someone else's, you know? And if this is the new generation's Barney, then okay, sure. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'll learn to love it, of course. Like, that's what you have to do, really. I feel like I just had a massive character arc. What kind of development is this? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this costume variation in the comments. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you learning to love it? Let me know what you guys think. And I would love to hear what you guys think. No, the Barney brand is not doomed or whatever I put in the title, but it apparently is being disrespected by the people that are working on it and for it. So that I feel needed to be talked about. So we're doing that. Hello. What unfortunate circumstances to come back to making a video. I saw a link on a Barney Facebook group this morning talking about how the casting director for Barney's World, the new CG reboot Barney thing, is saying some things about Barney, and apparently it's gotten people riled up. Us Barney fans, you know, that's something that's going to happen, especially now considering the brand is what I consider to be dead. Just like kind of sort of this time period, especially right now, it's being switched around between people that have no real experience in Barney specifically. It's just something to be expected, but I didn't expect for it to happen in a podcast. I just thought that it would be interesting. Now, I haven't heard any of it. I read some things about what was apparently said. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's the reason that I set everything up here, and like the camera and everything. But I haven't actually heard it or seen it myself just yet. So we're going to take a look at this. And of course, like always, don't throw any hate or disrespect towards anyone at all, please. Don't go after anyone. We're just looking at this. Everyone has their own opinion, and we're just going to be reacting or just seeing what was said here, okay? We're just watching it.
My God, that's terrible. Oh, I know. Because I wasn't supposed to talk about it for so long, but now it's been announced. So Barney. They're bringing Barney back.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, and he's not scary. I promise. He's a 3D, really fun, cute guy now.
First of all, thank you, son. That's pretty. Pretty? That's pretty is what I meant to say. I did read that people were saying something about this, how he's scary. I think that was just her trying to be funny. The way it came off at the end was a little disrespectful. He's not scary this time. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But then she was like, he's a really fun 3D character now, which is like, there were people that worked really hard on these costumes, and no one thought he was scary. Maybe adults thought he was scary. Kids didn't. Cue clip of kids running to Barney, excited to see him. Like, what are you talking about?
And this song has been revamped, so don't even think about it. Don't sing it. Just don't put it in your head. Okay.
This, I don't know what she's talking about. Does she mean the theme song? See, what I hate when people talk about Barney and they don't watch Barney, they don't know anything about Barney, is they always say the song. What song are you talking about? Because sometimes they're talking about the theme song, sometimes they're talking about I Love You. Was I Love You revamped? Why was it revamped? Why did it need to be revamped? There was nothing wrong with the song. Did they just lose the rights to be able to use the song? I really want to hear what they're talking about now because what song are you talking about? There's so many songs.
And then, and then I'm also working on 3 AAA games right now. So, and I don't think I can
Wait, is that
mention
it?
any of those.
Was that it for Barney? Wait a minute. Is that where is that it? Is that Okay, so I don't huh? I don't even know if I want to put this up anymore because that wasn't really much of anything. Not in terms of her talking about Barney for a long time, but like that didn't affect me at all. I'm surprised. I know people were upset with what she said. I kind of got a little bit of like, you probably shouldn't have said that, but okay. Like, I'm not offended by what she said at all. I just don't. I feel like this is the thing. When people get on board for a Barney project and have no experience with Barney at all, the issue is that Barney's been away for a long time, like out of the mainstream eye for over 10 years. People get onto these projects and they don't know much about Barney. They don't know, they haven't been around Barney all that long. They don't know that kids love it as it is. A year ago, I worked at like an outside job and I wore a Barney backpack. People came up and was like, "Oh, I remember Barney. I love Barney." Adults did that, but kids never did. But like adults were like, "Yeah, I remember Barney." I say kids never did. That's not true. Kids loved it, but like they love Barney as it is. So when you come on and you start sort of saying like he's not scary, by the way, we redid him so he's not scary anymore, or we redid the song so it's not bad anymore. It's like it was never bad to begin with. It's only people that see something wrong with something that makes people happy that think something's wrong with it. That's the only thing that I think is a little wonky with her casting for Barney's World. And I'm sure she does an amazing job. I'm sure she does a wonderful job with what she does. She seems really, really nice, like a really nice person. I think she just said some of these things to be funny, not expecting there to be like up to 5,000 people watching a video like this. Hello, guys, that are all fans of Barney. There's like almost 5,000 of us at this point, and we're all here for Barney. They don't know that we exist. They don't know that we're gonna watch this and hear what's being said. Like, I guarantee you, any of these videos that have her in it, or any of these videos that have someone from Barney's World in it, will end up being the most popular video of that section, because these channels aren't that big when it comes to talking about like voice directors, casting directors, that kind of thing. And it's just I want, they really don't know that we exist, that we have been here since Barney's, well, not since Barney's inception. Maybe some people have, but we grew up with Barney, so like we know what Barney is, how Barney behaves, I guess, how how Barney should be. I don't know. I don't want her to get any hate. I don't want her to get anything thrown at her at all. What she said was kind of weird, but at the same time, we don't know anything about Barney's World yet. We haven't seen or heard anything. And again, it's not for us. Then again, Barney was for us when we grew up, and we're grown up now and we're still watching it. So if we don't like it, then we don't like it. So I just think, I just want to see something from Barney's World. And I've said that forever. Like, can we just see something, please? I know that it has to be like close to done, right? At this point, it's like late 2023. I don't remember if we got a release date for when the series would go up. We just know 2024. So I just want to see it. That's all I really want. I just want to see it. This video was unoffensive, like completely. I don't. There was nothing. Again, I'm talking in circles. I think this video is fine. Her portion on Barney's World was fine, I guess. Just please, just be respectful. Be respectful to the people that worked on the show 30 years ago. That's my main thing. Like, I just don't understand. This brand has been around for 30 years for a reason. It's been on YouTube for the past like 10 years for a reason. Like, Barney is still existing. Barney is still loved by a lot of people. And the clips that are shown on YouTube now, even though it's not on TV anymore, were done by people that were with the brand for years and years and years. So when you say things like the song has been revamped because it was a certain way before, and he's not scary anymore because he was before, please be respectful to the people that have been on the boat for decades. Like, they worked hard, and a lot of them still want to be part of the ride in general. Like, a lot of people that worked on Barney would love to be part of Barney now, and they'll get contacted. So just please, just be very respectful to the brand that we love. Even if it's not for us, be respectful. I know you're great at your jobs. You're wonderful. I need to clean my nails. Just for us. Just be very respectful. And you guys in the comments, please be respectful as well. That's all I really got to say, and I'm out of here. So I thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you guys for boarding my rainbow line. I'll see you guys at the next stop. See you. Oh, you like I speed run that? How many times have I mentioned that now? Alicia, Andrew, Brandon, Dia, Disney Captain, Donnie, Emilia, Helen, Ian, Junior the Hedgehog, Common J, Matthew, Mia T. Toon, Samuel. Thank you to all of my Rainbow Line passengers. See you.